Hey everybody, I'm live. It's John Hope Bryant. It's Thursday night. John Hope Bryant, entrepreneur, philanthropist. You know me from the 55 million video views on this channel, or the work of Operation Hope, or the Promise Homes Company, or Bryant Motorsports Academy, or some of the stuff that we're doing, Global Dignity, to make the world a better place. Or the books that I've written, the Memo, How the Court Exit Capitalism. You should go get the memo if you haven't. We're going to talk about the memo tonight in this live session. I see you guys are coming on. It's a pop call. No notice. Hey, Maria Glover. No notice coming on. Hey, Claudio. Gwen. Hey, good evening. Hey, Harry, Jean Baptiste, Yvonne. How are you? Hello from Kentucky. Yay. Sharonda. Hello. Stephanie. So if you come on. If you watch when I come on and you come on early, I will say your name. Hey, Stephanie. And I will always come back. Hey, Derek O'Brien, Petaway, Lavelle, hello. I'll always come back and do comments, by the way. Franklin, Ignacio, hello. Shirley Evans from Michigan, hello. Quee, what a beautiful name. From, I think that was Palm Beach. Claudio. Shreveport, Disciple. Zena, watching from work. Girl, she loves to work. Nathan. All right, so let's, hey, Tony Bentone. Abril, what a beautiful name. Abril. Mark Love from Chicago. Hey. All right, so we're building the audience. Hey, Shelly Mills. John Hope Bryant, back at you, Shelly Mills. She said I pronounced her name correctly. Hey, Abril from Wisconsin. Let me see what Abril, I pronounced her name properly. Hey, Perry. Eddie Hinson. I'm doing well. Anderson, good evening from Atlanta. Perry, winning. Okay, let's get into this. So I watched Chris Rock's special, most recent special with my family this week. It was hilarious. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. The brother is just all the way live. Hey, Mary from Alaska. Brother's just all the way turned up. Hey, Dante Black. Love Dante Black, the great work she's doing. Are you a victim or victor? That's right, Mary. You're a victor. That's right, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So I was watching this Chris Rock special, and Chris is hilarious. And if you haven't seen his last special, you need to. He talks about raising his children and how he sends his kids out to the world every day. And I thought it was really instructive because it ties into the book I wrote, Philosophy I Use to Live My Life. This is the book. The Memo, and if you haven't picked it up, you should. It's a philosophy I use to live my life of complete and utter responsibility. Now, does this mean you're not victimized? Does this mean that somebody's not preying on you? Does this mean that you're not discriminated? Let me get this out of the way. Does this mean you're not being discriminated against? No, it does not. Does it mean, am I saying that there have been no sins against you? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying nobody cares. Increasingly, nobody cares. I'm saying that in the days of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it was about love and hate, all right? And those who loved him were with him and were leaned in. Love was work. They had their shoulder against the wheel. They were marching with him. They were sending him checks. They were writing petitions. They were showing up in the streets and the suites and making their presence and their position known. Those were against him, Bull Connor in the South, and many of the law enforcement officials and the racists were throwing bricks, throwing punches, throwing insults. They made it clear that they were against him. Today, it's not so much about love or hate. It's radical indifference. My background is motivational, Jamel says. Okay, well, this is my place of peace, by the way. Anyway, so it's increasingly the issue is not love or hate, as I talk about here in the memo, and what to do about it, how to combat it in today's day and age. It's radical indifference. Hey, Tinder Nash, radical indifference. When folks don't care enough about you to hate you. Let me frame this thing out here. Birmingham, hey, Jamel, Birmingham in the house. Let me frame this out for you. So, private schools, private roads, private security, private homes, private gated communities, private islands, private lives. I can go and keep going. Private lives. Folks are basically saying, whatever drama you got going, leave that over there. got nothing to do with me. You want to set yourself on fire, you want to destroy your community, you want to riot, whatever you want to do, that's cool. Leave that stuff away from me. Leave my family out of it. I'm not saying that's the right way to go. I'm saying that increasingly people just don't care. They got their own problems. When you leave and this is not a good thing, by the way, because radical indifference is the death knell of the soul. I'm just telling you what you're dealing with. I'm telling you how you need to comport and manage your life in this environment until things get better, until our society becomes less sick. Because right now, hey, Divine Ford, good evening to you. Right now, society is very sick. And so until such time as we become healthier, as we, haters make it greater, that's right, who said that? Hey, Shirley Evans, Kimberly Akbar said that. Until we become less sick as society, more and healthier spiritually, until I like me, I'm not going to like you. Until I love me, I'm not going to love you. Until I feel good about me, I'm not going to feel good about you. So until that happens, we've got to learn to become our own protection, our own empowerment source. And that's really what I'm talking about, is competing, is preparing you to win, irrespective of what's going on around you. And again, that's what I cover in some detail in the memo and what Operation Hope does every day to give you the tools to compete in this environment every day. So you have the what you need to win in your life. So when you leave the front door of your house, and this is what Chris Rock was saying about his child. He said, literally nobody cares about you. You got to assume when you leave the front door, and you got to tell your children this, you got to tell your husband, your wife this, hey, I love you, I'm with you, I got you. But increasingly, you got to say nobody cares about you. And the minute that you walk out this front door, you got to assume that your neighbors don't care about you. I hate to say this. I hope it's not true. You got to assume that the police maybe don't care about you. Maybe not. I would hope to think they have the best of intentions. But some officers have not been responding. Hey, Loretta from Newark, New Jersey, in the best way. You got to assume that the law may not be on your side. You got to assume that people on the freeway don't like you. Your coworkers are not concerned about you. That your entire environment is almost a spiritual war zone. When you leave that front door, it's not that people hate you. Love you back, Rohan Williams. Love you back. It's not that people hate you. It's that they're not concerned about you at all. And here's something worse. The most dangerous person in the world is a person with no hope. So if I don't like me, I'm not gonna like you. If I don't feel good about me, I'm not gonna feel good about you. If I don't love me, I don't have a clue how to love you. What did you say? Kimberly says you got that right. That's right. So the CEOs don't care about you, Quay says. Well, I wouldn't highlight the CEO. In fact, the CEO may be the only one that does care about you, and in the sense that the CEO needs their company to prosper. They need customers, and if you're a customer, they're very concerned about you. Frankly, that's a very interesting quandary you just raised. They might not be concerned about you as a person, but actually, there's CEOs. There's in charge of a retail company, a company. Let's say it's a series of gas stations. They have, or grocery stores, or donut shops, or whatever, or laundries. They better be concerned about you because you are literally their customer. Anyway, back to the story. So in the book, I cover that. Somebody said that's real truth, Sharonda. I cover something in this book, a story. Forget which chapter it's in, but I talk about a brother when President Reagan was the president of the United States. This brother came to me, brother African American. He said, "Hey, President Reagan's a racist." I said, "No, I know President Reagan. We're born on the same day, February 6th. He's, not his politics and mine are not the same. But I disagree with you. Hey, Jill. But I'm telling you, I don't think he's a racist. Oh no, President Reagan Ronald Reagan, when he was in office, is a racist. I'm telling you, I know his wife, I know his family. I've spent a little bit of time with him. I read people very well. His policies are not my policies again, but I'm telling you, I don't think he's a racist. Oh, he goes on, President Reagan's a racist. He hates me. I said, look, let me explain something to you. Explain, not explain. I said, let me explain something to you. Now listen, everybody. There's a whole new take on the way the world works and how to look at it. I said, look, President Reagan doesn't know any black people. He wasn't raised around black people. His wife's not a sister, black. He doesn't have any black relatives, okay? He doesn't have any close, dear friends who are black. He doesn't understand black culture. President Reagan doesn't hate you. President Reagan, in this example, is not thinking about you. You literally are not on his radar screen. You don't matter. And then what did the Congressional Black Caucus do in that situation back in that day? CBC wrote letters, you are the devil incarnate, you are racist, we don't support you. By the way, we probably give Heinz tooth today for Ronald Reagan or George Bush or George H.W. Bush to some of the politics we're dealing with today. That's a whole other conversation. So Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Jimmy Carter, I mean, George H.W. Bush, we would take all of them, can I get an amen, to come back and bring some sanity to this whole situation. We thought things were bad then, my God, right? At least it was sane insanity. This is what we're dealing with these days. These days is a whole nother thing. So I said, look, President Reagan is not mad at you. He's not thinking about you. And then you have these politicians who then called him every name but the Son of God, and who because they had a disagreement and they made it personal. They didn't say we can disagree without being disagreeable. They said, no, the fact that you don't agree with me means that you're the devil and I'm the saint. And because they made him the devil, he said, look, now let me ask you this question. He already doesn't have no relationship with you. He already doesn't know you. He already doesn't have a favorable view, maybe based on what he's viewing on the TV or whatever. Hey, Angelo, for making a donation operational. Thank you, Angelo Thomas. And now black politicians come out and call him everything but the son of Christ, maybe for no good reason. By the way, Reagan, I might add, signed the bill making Martin Luther King Day a national holiday. Give the man some credit where credit is due. That's right. You never know where your friends are coming from. So if you can, make friends everywhere. If they're in any way remotely sane, make friends everywhere. That's right. President Reagan created Martin Luther King's holiday at the request of Coretta Scott King and Stevie Wonder. After some other interesting anecdotes about interesting people who created a very important policy for people of color, but that's a whole other video for another time. So Reagan's like, look, I'm not going to sign any legislation. I got favors to give people who put me in office, people who are my friends, issues for which I actually agree with. I don't understand your issues. I don't understand you. I don't have any relationship with you whatsoever. We have no relationship capital. And you're calling me nasty names. Tell you what, I'm not going to sign anything. Let the door hit you where the dog should have bit you. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I'm out of here. Isn't that just sort of a natural human reaction? Sharonda. Isn't that a natural human reaction? That's not a white issue to a black person. That's not a black issue to a white person. If you feel dissed by somebody, are you going to do any favors for them? Probably not, right? If you feel, that's right, Kendrick says relationship capital. Exactly, relationship capital. If you feel that you've not been given the benefit of the doubt, if you guys like that, okay. If you guys feel like you've not been given the benefit of the doubt, that somebody has not given you the sense of assuming that you're a good person and maybe you disagree without being disagreeable, then you're going to take that personal and you're going to get your back up. And now you're going to become defensive. Here's how I live my life. Talk without being offensive. Listen without being defensive. And always leave even your adversary with their dignity. Because if you don't, that person will spend the rest of their life trying to make you miserable. It becomes personal. So beyond the fact that there was this radical indifference in the air, and the person was not. You think somebody's sitting up every day trying to hurt you, trying to scheme against you. The reality is they're not thinking about you. Beyond that, now you're wasting your time and your energy worrying about somebody who's not worrying about you. If you don't also respond, not react, respond in the right way to evilness coming from somebody else or indifference coming from somebody else, now you make a bad situation worse. When you become a victim and you decide you're a victim, and worse when nobody is even a constituency, you're having a pity party and sending out invitations. I guarantee you nobody's going to come. The folks who are going to save you, who's going to save you? Nobody's coming to save you. That's what Chris Rock said in that skit. Nobody's coming to save you. You're going to come. He told the truth. You're going to save yourself. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to show you? I'm trying to give you the memo of your life so you can save yourself. When the plane is going down, the flight attendant will tell you, put the oxygen mask on your face first and then your child. Because if you can't save you, you cannot save them. Hold the book up for 3 seconds, Bryant says. It's reverse, Brian. But anyway, it's the memo. It's in reverse. It's the memo. That's the book. That's my most recent book. I've got several others. Love Leadership, How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, Banking Our Future, but this is the one you want. I can't get in your head. I can't get in your heart. I can't tell you how to live your life. I can't tell you whether you can love me or not. But I can tell you what I can do. I can love me enough to protect me, to build me, and I can decide whether the glass of life is half empty or half full. And I've decided, that's right, Loretta, save yourself. I've decided not to be a victim, but to be a victor. So it's not about the Republican Party in this example, the Democratic Party is about the get it done party. And you got to be about getting it done. So once you decide you're going to be a victor, not a victim, that doesn't mean you're letting somebody off from doing bad things to you. It's just you're just deciding that you're going to empower yourself and you're going to use your limited time and energy to move the dial on your life. Then that leads to you setting up your life as a corporation. So what does that mean? That means that you're Lanny Gillespie, I think I said that right, Inc. You're Zena Knox, Inc. All right? You're Eddie Henson, Inc. as an incorporated. You're Daryl Henderson, Incorporated. You're Tony Rimonsky, I believe is his name, Incorporated. Whatever you are, Victor Makia, hello. Bishop Ronald Dewberry, my man, love that dude, Incorporated. In other words, put an Inc. beside your name. Hey, Tammy Brooks, thanks for donating to Operation Hope. Put an Incorporated next to your name and decide that you are the product. That's what I say in my book, The Memo. I'm saying that you are capital. The capital comes from the Latin root word capitas. Hey, Thelma, yeah, you caught me live. Knowledge in the head. Tell your friends to join us next time and share this broadly. That capital comes from the Latin root word capitas. That means, and that's the first chapter of this book, The Memo, which is knowledge in the head. Capital has nothing to do with money. It has to do with how you feel about yourself. And if you don't love you, you cannot love anybody else. If you don't feel good about you, you cannot feel good about somebody else. That's the way Shante Austin Inc. That's right. You are a corporation. Kimberly Akbar Inc. You've got to decide that you are your own corporation. You are your own brand. Now, if you are your own brand, watch what you put in your body. That's your temple. That's your product. Watch how we treat our cars and our iPhones better than we treat our body. Watch how you treat your body. Watch what you put in your body. Watch what you put on social media, because it can come back and ricochet on you when you're trying to market yourself to the world, because now you've showed your rear end with a skirt that's supposed to come down your knees is up to your chest. In other words, it's reversed because you are not comporting yourself. You're not managing your brand, and you're out there flossing and profiling in a way that you won't want reflected on you in 5 years when you're trying to get that job or get that investment. Treat yourself. What happens if you treat yourself as your most valuable asset? That's right, Tanya Little Inc. That's right, Zena Knox Inc. What happens, write that down now, write your first name, your last name, first name, middle name, last name, you like to incorporate it. What happens when you begin to view yourself as the product? How does your mind shift when you decide that you are capital? When you realize there's nobody in the world just like me. Hey, O'Neal Carter, there's nobody in the world just like you. That God gave you, hey, Rakita, God gave you unique fingerprints. That's right, Shante, you are the brand. God gave you unique fingerprints. No one in the world has your fingerprints. That's right, Antoine Clark Inc., Eddie Henson Inc. That's right, now you're getting it. Daryl Davy Smith Inc., Victor Makia Inc. Now you're starting to get it. That now you are Angela Thomas Inc. Hey, cousin, hey, Rakita, you are the product. What happens when you decided that you are the most valuable asset that you have? How do you treat yourself? What do you then allow? What do you accept in treatment from others onto you? Come on now. Do you now reject toxic people? Do you now reject toxic behavior. Do you now reject somebody who beats you up and say that they love you? Now, I said in the Chris Rock example that folks outside the door were the threat, that nobody really likes you or cares about you outside of your door. But in reality, there may be people inside of your house who say they love you and don't know how to love, and they may be the ones dragging you down. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying that if somebody says they love you and they're beating you, they do not love you. If somebody says they love you but says you're never going to amount to anything, then they do not love you. That, in fact, we save our worst behavior many times with those that we care the most about. That's right, Jill Bernard Inc. We care Gasper Morris Inc. That's right, Robin Williams Inc. There you go. Shirley Evans Inc. Come on now, talk to me. Loretta Washington Inc. We save our worst behavior for those we care the most about. Why? Because no one's going to go curse out a homeless guy because the homeless guy don't care. We wait and curse out people that we care about because we want to get a reaction. We want to get some sense, either love or hate, that they feel some kind of way about us. That's what happens when you have low self-esteem, when there's a hole in your soul, when you don't feel good about yourself, then any kind of reaction will do. Now, healthy people want a loving reaction. And I'm going to give you one here to write this down. Is a giver and a giver is exotic. A giver and a taker is neurotic. And a taker is psychotic. Did you get that? I'm gonna repeat it one more time for you. Write this down and put it in the comments. Let me know that you got this. A giver and a giver, this is what you want in your life. This is the kind of relationships you want. This is the kind of family dynamics you want. These are the kind of friendships that you want. This is the kind of love you want in your life. This is not complicated, ladies and gentlemen. You want givers and givers. Because wherever goes around, comes around. So a giver and a giver is exotic. A giver and a taker is neurotic. And a taker is psychotic. Now, we have relationships, if you think about it, look through your life now, and this correlates, by the way, with eagles, buzzards, and turkeys. Eagles don't fly in packs. You've never seen a flock of eagles. Eagles are high-altitude birds. They're not arrogant or pompous, but they're regal. They sort of rise above. Over mess, not in it. But buzzards are low-altitude birds, and they love packs, always stepping on your head to elevate themselves. Always player-hating, never player-congratulating. Always got something negative to say about somebody else. And then you got turkeys, and turkeys got wings and can't even fly. All they do is profile, trying to be something they are not. One more time, you want a giver and a giver, and that's exotic. And that's the relationship you want. And you start, that's right, Zena, that's right, love yourself. You've got to love yourself before anybody else can find love within you. You've got to love yourself before you can even recognize love in somebody else. You got to love yourself so you don't get into an argument with some fool outside who's trying to push every button you've got when you leave your house and you into the battlefield called the world, or the workplace, or the schoolyard, or the college campus, or the party with somebody of low self-esteem and who's got no dignity and no self-worth and no hope, who wants to take your life because they don't value theirs, so they're going to push your buttons. And what did my pastor say to me, Reverend Murray? He said, it's not what people call you, it's what you answer to that's important. And never answer out of your name. And then I added, to argue with a fool proves there are two. But if I don't know me, if I don't know who I am, and you call me a crazy name, I'm going to respond to that. To argue with a fool proves there are two. Now we got to fight, right? And then an eye for an eye leaves everybody blind. And now I'm ending up in prison or whatever because you've baited me into a situation. And in reality, you don't matter. Not you, but the person who's going to bait me in that situation literally doesn't matter. And I've now ruined my life, thrown out my life because it's a mess. So if you have somebody in your family who says they love you, but you know they don't love themselves, they don't have the capacity to love you. See, don't take it personal. Don't think that they have something malicious against you. This is no different than the person outside who doesn't hate you. They don't love them. I asked the Klansman one day, why are you in the Klan? Well, my daddy was in the Klan. Okay. Why was your daddy in the Klan? Well, his daddy was in the Klan. Okay, well, why was your daddy's daddy in the Klan? Because his great-grandfather was the Grand Master of the local Klan. So wait a minute, you don't consciously hate me. Well, he said, well, I never thought about it. I'm just doing what I does. See what I'm saying? Ignorance, all right? Even the Klansman is not consciously waking up, looking to hate you because he's ignorant. He didn't finish high school. He's depressed, living in this backwards old town. All he's seen is negative his whole life. His daddy kicked his rear end. His mama didn't tell him he loved him. And now he wants to take out on anybody who he thinks is below him, or God forbid, somebody who he thinks shouldn't be above him. And now he's going to hate people because he doesn't like himself. Don't even get me started on Hitler and how Hitler had Jewish friends growing up. In fact, his best friend was Jewish, but a Jewish doctor who was trying to save his mother, unfortunately presided over his mother when she died, and he blamed that Jewish doctor for his mother's death, and now he went off and wanted to kill 6 million Jews, and that was World War II and Auschwitz. And don't get me started, because all this stuff does make sense, but you cannot spend your time screwing around with some idiot. You cannot waste your time and your energy investing yourself in somebody who's going to pollute you with all this negative energy. You can't save anybody else. You can barely save yourself. Can I get an amen? You can barely pick up your own luggage in life. You can barely deal with your own drama in life. How are you going to save somebody else who doesn't even want to be saved? How are you going to get into an argument with somebody who's got 5 levels of psychosis, mental illness, and depression, right? Who lost their job? Let me tell you about the Klansman or the racist person that you're spending your time worrying about. First of all, he got up in the morning, miserable. He had to go to work, assuming he's got a job. He went and joined. He kissed his wife in a non-emotional kiss because she lost interest in his negative rear end a long time ago. He then went and joined traffic in the truck that's breaking down, and he can't afford to get it fixed. So now it's clunking down the road, and he's stressed out, wondering whether it's gonna overheat. He's on the freeway fighting traffic and people cutting him off. He goes to his dead-end job. He's sitting here watching the clock until 5 o'clock. He gets off at 5 o'clock. At 5:01, he's on the freeway. He's battling traffic back home. He gets home at 6:30, irritated. He kicks the dog, beats his wife, grabs a bottle of beer, and then he gets out around 9 o'clock to go chase black people with the Klan. So even for the Ku Klux Klan, you're an afterthought. Let me ask you a question. What are you doing with the rest of your day when this fool is having a miserable day? Are you waiting for him to come beat you up? Are you waiting for him to come chase you? Like, well, I got to wait till 9 p.m. I got to waste my whole day, wait till 9 p.m. so the Klansman can come and show my life is relevant, run me around the corner. Come on now. Look, you can't compete with me because I'm going to get up early, stay up late, and work my tail off. An entrepreneur works 18 hours a day to keep from getting a job. Okay? So I may not be the most educated person in the room. I may not be even the smartest person in the room, but I have the greatest hustle of anybody in that room. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to get up earlier, stay up later, work harder, double down, and be committed to excellence, and I will win. I'm not going to argue with you. we're not going to get in no fight because it's not worth you getting me all worked up and running my blood pressure up because somebody going to jump up and down, screaming and holler, calling me. I'm like, are you finished? Okay. Let me know when you finish because that drama really don't matter. So you got to understand that just because somebody's your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your auntie, that doesn't make them a saint. It means that somebody got busy, had a child, okay, and ended up with, 2 people got busy. There may be children watching, so I'm being PC here, and had a child, and we hope they're great parents, but they may be lousy parents. And if you're a 16-year-old having children, it's a child having a child. So you gotta put some conditions around who you're listening to, where you're getting your mentorship from, where you're getting your inspiration from, where you're getting your energy from. And if negative energy is what you're listening to, remember what I said. I can't guarantee you that reading this book and listening to what I'm saying and going to Operation Hope and dealing with global dignity is going to make you a perfect person or going to make sure you're successful. But what I guarantee you is if you go negative, you're going to fail. That's what I do guarantee you. And so you've got to understand when you leave that front doorstep tomorrow morning that this world may not be for you. But that doesn't mean it's against you. It may just mean that they don't give a dang which way you flow. So you gotta now be John Bryant Inc. You gotta be Gwen Inc. You gotta be Tony Inc. You gotta be that's right, MBA and Hustle Tony. You gotta commit to your own life. And what are you gonna do when you see yourself as your own product? Your household budget is your balance sheet. Go through your house, write down everything you own. Right? Go through your house. You don't think you have assets? Go through your house. Go through your apartment, wherever you're living. You're staying with somebody else, go to your room and write down everything. I've done this exercise before. Write down everything that you own. You'd be amazed how many assets you have. And then the stuff you don't need, put it on Craigslist. Put it on eBay. Sell it, monetize it, and then figure out what your business idea is and pour that excess revenue either into a fractional share account or a stock account, or buy a raggedy house near you and rehab it, or invest in your business idea, or invest it in your education. It takes less than 1 year to get a certification to be a plumber, a carpenter, all kind of trades that will allow you to have a gainful employment and take care of yourself. It doesn't have to be a 4-year education with 6 figures of student loan debt. You can go to a community college and get a degree in less than 1 year that will guarantee you a quality of life and a middle income of resources coming into you. And that's about you seeing yourself as a resource and a victor, not a victim. You got to get serious about your life. I said in the video earlier this week, should black and brown kids, minority kids, do they have the luxury of playing around and not taking their life seriously? The answer is no. You don't. If you're black or brown, you're born on probation in America. You gotta be twice as smart, twice as intelligent, twice as well dressed, twice as smart. Get up twice as early, stay up twice as late, and work twice as hard. All right, you born on, you just, don't get mad, get even. Don't hit them with a brick, hit them with an American Express black card, knock folks out with your own power. You're gonna have to understand that this playing field is not level. You're gonna have to level it yourself. And if you out here flossing and playing around and doing marijuana, which will put your ambition to sleep, I'm not judging you, I'm just saying you're putting your ambition to sleep, that other folks are getting up in the morning ready to hustle. And they're gonna outrun you and outgun you, in the boardroom, and you will lose. So now it's manifest destiny. Now it's bias confirmation. If you think you're gonna lose, you will lose. If you think you're not gonna win, then you're not gonna win. And I guarantee you hang around 9 broke people, you're gonna be the 10th. Can I get an amen? Are we talking tonight? So understand that when you walk out that door, the world may not be for you, and that has to be okay. Understand that you're not a victim, you're a victor. That's a mental shift that is critical to getting the memo. Understand also that you are the best asset you've got. Go through your house, pick up everything you own, write it down, put liabilities and assets on 2 sheets of paper, and then everything that you don't need, sell it, donate it, give it away, eBay it, monetize it, and then put that money aside to invest in your future. Run your monthly budget as a balance sheet for your corporation, and understand if your outflow exceeds your inflow, then your overhead will be your downfall. I'll repeat that. If your outflow exceeds your inflow, that's right, Mary Victor, then your overhead will be your downfall. And then I want you to sit with your family and have a weekly family summit. I want you to sit down because the lights don't come on by themselves, okay? The refrigerator is not stocked by itself. The government's not coming and putting gas in your car, whether you're in South Africa or Egypt or Nigeria or Detroit, Michigan. The government's not putting gas in your car. You're doing that. The government's not giving you a phone. You're buying that phone. So the rent don't get paid by itself. The gas don't get in your car by itself. The food don't get in the refrigerator by itself. You got to sit down, your children, your family, let them know that this stuff costs money and somebody's paying for it, and it's probably you, right? And so everybody's got to be a contributor in that household. Everybody's got to remember that that your assets are not on your. Okay, it starts here. What are you going to do to take your life back? Because if you don't understand that you are a corporation, that you are it, that you are the primo asset in your life, then what do you have to give to anybody else? What else? What can you do? What do you have to give if you have nothing to save? If you haven't saved you, how do you then export you to somebody else or someone else? How do you give somebody something that is not there? Watch how you live your life. It may be the only Bible that anybody else reads. I'm out. Leave in the text, in the comments, what else you want me to talk about from the memo. I'm going to get into micro detail on each of these topics. And let me know if you want to go back to, if you want me to go back to the one word series. You can't pour from an empty cup, Rakita says. That's right. Where I talked about, took one word and unwound it and unpacked it. All right, love and light.